Welcome to the Undefining Beauty Podcast, a space to invite more beauty into our lives. I am Andrea Belluso, and on this podcast I will have some very special guests and friends of mine to explore what beauty could be that we have not yet considered. So welcome everybody to this Zoom of when cosmetics cannot fix your beauty, what will? And this brilliant name, of course, comes from the one and only Mr. Gary Douglas. And I'm so incredibly grateful for you, Gary. I'm so looking forward to this conversation and thinking of all the wonderful conversations that we had in the past, creating this Undefining Beauty class. So I'm super excited.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. So yes. I don't know yet if we're going to accept questions or not, but raise your hand or put them in the chat, and we'll see where we go. We'll follow the energy with that. And basically, I called Gary about, it was a couple of weeks ago. And I said, hey, Gary, I don't think that people actually get what the Undefining Beauty class is all about. They actually, and Gary said, well, what do they think? And I said, well, I think that because I'm a photographer, they think it's about pictures or cosmetics. And he just gave me the title of the class. Of this call, rather. And at first I was like, what do you mean, Gary? And then I went, wow, that's a brilliant name.
Yes, because that's, it's about what people make meaningful that isn't meaningful, that keeps them from having everything they truly desire.
Exactly. Yeah. True story. And I remember one of the early conversations that we had when I called you, when I saw these comments posted in the chat and group somewhere with people saying, well, fascists don't have any taste anyway. And I reacted to that thinking, well, I actually like Mussolinian architecture. I'm not a big fan of Mussolini by any means, but I like his architecture. I like the propaganda images of Mao Zedong and of the USSR and even of Hitler. And so could this be, and I asked you, Gary, could this be that beauty is actually about receiving anything and anyone without judgment?
Well, it's about receiving everything without any judgment. If you really are truly willing to be all the awareness of everything that you're capable of, a whole different universe opens up. It's like I used to years ago, I go, oh God, that's so gross. And then I went, what if I didn't think it was gross? What would it be?
Yeah.
And I stopped looking at the things as gross. And I started looking at them. Okay, what's this going to create? What's this about? What can this be? What's possible here? And it's like, as I began to see what was possible and what could occur, now we're going to have just a little bit of an interruption, maybe here, maybe not, because, thank you. Sweet Andrew is plugging me in because I meant to get my charger when I came out here.
Duh. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Hi.
Great Andrew comes through every time.
Yep.
Okay, and what I learned years ago is when people think badly of themselves, they actually make themselves not pretty.
Yeah, and I realized that also because when I see somebody that I'm just about to photograph, I have no judgment of that person and I see their beauty. What I can be aware of, though, is all their judgments and points of views they have about themselves or about the camera, about being photographed and all that. And it's funny how I can see the ugliness that is being created, but I still see the beauty of the being.
Okay, but that's you.
Yeah, and as you know, I started this class because I was wondering what would the world be like if everybody that is in front or behind the camera, today it's everybody with these things, actually had that point of view of actually not having any judgment, no projections, no expectations.
Good luck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The fun thing also,
what's like to change in the world and what one can change are oftentimes not the same thing.
I know. And at the same time, I would like to contribute to that.
Exactly.
And those that can hear it, and those that can't.
That's right. So you have to have this place where you're willing to allow what people can hear and to ask what they can hear and be willing to see what they can hear and having no point of view about it.
Yeah. The funny thing about the classes of Undefining Beauty that I've been having so far, that I've been facilitating so far, is that the class has been so undefined by itself because the topics that come up have been so varied. I mean, everything comes up from the pandemic to the war to the physical aspect of beauty and bodies, to a whole lot of things that actually touch everything that has beauty, which is basically everything in the universe, right?
Well, I mean, is a molecule pretty or ugly?
It's just a molecule.
Pretty ugly.
It's pretty ugly. The funny thing with a molecule is a molecule.
Yeah, and it has no judgment and it has no point of view.
Exactly.
We create the points of view, and in so doing, alter the molecules.
There's been this came up in one of the classes of how, the study that's been carried out with water and how when you project some kind of a different energy to it, the molecules of the water actually change, and they've taken pictures of them, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. So since we're made mainly of water, that says a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that you can't change blood because of your thoughts. You can only change water because of your thoughts.
Ha 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 ha. Exactly. So whatever you do out there, do not try and change anything by just changing your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and points of views, right?
Yeah, because you could be as powerful as I think you are instead of as powerful as you think you are, or as powerless as you think you are.
Yeah. It's so funny how even during these classes, people have, funny questions like, so can anybody be beautiful? Well,
No, nobody can be beautiful.
Nobody.
Only be ugly.
Yes. I loved also what you wrote. You posted on your social media the day after that we had that conversation about beauty being about receiving everything and everyone with no judgment. And you posted something brilliant that said that beauty is everywhere and ugliness is created.
Yes, ugliness is a creation. It's not a reality. I've seen some chickens that have been in, cockfights. Never mind. When people do the cockfight things, it's like they scramble these poor chickens. They pull out all their failures. They do all kinds of terrible things to them. And yet the critter has a pride in himself for what he's been able to accomplish, which makes him beautiful, even with his scratches and his scars. It's just like when you see people who are fighters, and it's like they don't look pathetic with all their scars. They look elegant with all their scars because they have an elegance of being based on the fact that they know they've accomplished something.
I love that, Gary. That is such a beautiful picture that I'm getting from that, because it's so true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I met this photographer called Hiro, one of the big photographers of the 60s and 70s. And I had the luck of meeting him in New York, and he made a book about fighting cocks. And those pictures are incredible. And the beauty that comes from that, exactly what you said.
Yeah. They are remarkable creatures.
They really are. There's a few questions here. Do we want to take the questions? What do you get there?
Sure.
Cool. So I will unmute Raivat.
Hello. Hi, Gary.
Hello.
So my question is, how do I invite more beauty into my life? Like beautiful people, beautiful things.
Well, you start by going out and look at everything, and everything you think is ugly, pocket pot everything that makes you think it's ugly.
Okay. And then?
And then pretty soon you'll find that you see the beauty in things instead of the ugliness.
Okay. And just by seeing the beauty in things, that I've invited the beauty in my life.
Yes, because it's like you start to look at all the things you want in your life. It's like one of the great gifts I got of COVID was that I used to look at people's faces. Okay. And it's like you've got a nice face. Okay. So if I couldn't see your face with a mask on, what could I look at? I went, oh, the one thing he's not covering up is his butt. And the one thing I noticed is people didn't they covered their faces, but not their butts during COVID. So I looked at people's butts and I realized there are a lot of beautiful butts in the world. I had never looked at butts because I liked faces.
Yeah.
But now I look at faces and butts. I like them both.
I like that.
That's a very nice perspective, Gary. I love it.
Okay, that's cool.
The other thing that I discovered also is that, as you say, Gary, as you've been saying so many times, is that, judgment and gratitude can never coexist. And
yes.
And what I discovered with the tools of photography is that when you take a picture that people judge as ugly, I normally invite them to really project all the judgments for that picture, then move on until they find a picture that they actually love, and be so grateful for that picture, and then go back to the one they judged and actually be grateful for that one, because without that one, the one that you actually like would not exist. So you actually use gratitude as a dissolvent of judgment. But whatever you do, don't use that in your everyday life. It's just works with pictures.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can take a question from Oana. If you're okay with that, Gary.
Hi. Yes.
Hello?
And can you please let me translate afterwards? My question is, you were just touching on molecules and, creating beauty. Well, beauty is what it is and ugliness is created. And my question is, how can we go like back or forward to real beauty of nature?
Well, now that's
with
a fixed
our bodies.
view. That's a fixed point of view of nature.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
It's like I hated graffiti. I thought it was disgusting that people would take beautiful buildings, especially in Rome. They take these beautiful architectural pieces that were covered in marble and put graffiti on them. And then one day I looked at a piece of graffiti and I went, wow, that's actually pretty. Since then, I've looked at this individual thing and I went, oh, it doesn't make it worse. It doesn't make it better. It's just different.
Yeah. So I'm looking through eyes of judgment to decide, nature is pretty and everything else is ugly.
To decide what is pretty and what is ugly. I don't have a point of view about what's pretty or ugly. It's like there's certain things I like better than other things, but it's like, hey, what's really ugly is people.
Yes, Gary, but you have a curiosity, and it's an energy that is beyond curiosity that actually invites beauty. Can you talk about, and can I please translate?
We are actually identifying it. Curiosity is what creates beauty.
Oh.
What is it I'm saying? What is it I'm not saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's my question. What are you not saying about it?
Have you ever seen any of those pictures of old people with the really wrinkled faces?
Yes.
Okay, do you find those people beautiful or ugly?
That's an interesting question.
Because I find them beautiful because every line is a sentence they lived in their lifetime. And from me, I see all of it as something that's greater and greater possibility. You have to see everything as it is. And it's like I see those old people. I actually knew a man who had a wrinkled face like that. And he was one of the sweetest old men I've ever met. And he worked at a riding stable where I was working. And he had the ability to take a rope, he'd hang it at his side, walk out and throw it and catch a horse. And the horse didn't even know it was coming. He wouldn't swing it around his head or anything. He'd just go, whoop, and it would be on him. And they'd be caught. And it's like I thought, this is a man who's taken life down to the least amount of effort to create the most result. And that's what I look for, is what's the least amount of effort to create the greatest result.
And that's beauty.
Yes, that's the real beauty. That's the beauty of living moment to moment and day by day.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I discovered is that, I mean, a lot of people think that it's just negative judgments that destroy, when in actual fact, it's just judgment, period.
Positive judgment, negative judgment, no matter how you do it, it's still judgment.
It's judgment.
See, I mean, my shirt is judgment. Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
Heather.
so much more with barriers down, basically, and no judgment. And the world is such a beautiful place. I mean, as you know, I've been going through a very, very interesting and extremely intense period in my life where everything just turned upside down. And I realized that I actually made this big ask of the universe and a demand of myself of, like I said before, this tiny little thing of removing judgment from my life, at least. And it was almost like this class and the universe said, okay, so you want to remove judgment. Let's put you to the test a little bit. How much you're judging the crap out of yourself? How much you're judging your relationship, your wife, your friends, your everything? Here it is on a platter. And it's such an amazing exercise. And the world has been such an amazing place for the last 2-3 days, when I've actually got to a point of not judging any part of it and actually being truly grateful for everything that came into my life that was totally presenting itself in a completely different way.
Yeah. Life isn't orchid. Some of them look beautiful, some of them look ugly, but all of them are unique.
Yeah. Should we take a question from Penelope?
Sure.
Wonderful.
Hi, everybody.
Is
Hi,
that
Gary.
in the background?
It's a Ganesha, a big Ganesha.
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, yeah. It's a great support.
He's one of my favorite. The only one I like better is Colleen.
Oh, yes, this one. I have a question about the earth and beauty, and I've been sensitive to beauty since I was born, I guess, and I've seen so many people choosing ugliness and not really sensitive to beauty, and I wonder, what would it take, or what is required for people to see the beauty in this planet and in
You.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Wedge, boom.
Sorry.
Okay.
You talk about being sensitive to it, but you're not sensitive. You're not allowing yourself to be sensitive enough to tell people, look how beautiful that is. Tell them what to see. You're not willing to use your eyes to tell people what to see. It's like if everybody was blind, how would you explain blue to them?
Oh. Wow. With energy?
Yeah. And you could also give them a feel of something that's blue and go, this is blue. And you know, colors are energies, and it's like you can feel the energies. I had a friend who was blind, and she could tell the different colors of her clothes by feeling them. She could feel the energy of the color.
Wow.
But whatever you do, Penelope, you can't do this being a musician and an actress.
Watch me.
Yep. I knew if I said it that way, that would challenge that girl.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm willing to do this with my children, so let's have it wider.
Yes. But
Yeah.
you're willing to tell your kids what to see. Why don't you tell people what to see?
Yeah. And
If you can see it and they can't, tell them what to see.
I've seen you say, like, if you would see through my eyes how I see the world, it's an amazing invitation. And whoa, it brings tears to my eyes, how beautiful, and the amount of gratitude, the communion.
You invite people to see the world through your eyes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh.
Gotcha.
There we go. Thank you so much.
I noticed also another thing when doing these private photo sessions, or even when I call people in front of my camera during the class, is that a great invitation you can be is just to actually look at them with no point of view, with no judgment. And that breaks down the barrier, the molecules of their judgments eventually. And, you've seen it in class as well. When people see the pictures of themselves, they have no judgment of that either. And that is because that judgment is removed and something happens through the process. So you just being you and actually not having a point of view, being aware of the ugliness is created with the judgments, but actually seeing their beauty, the beauty of their being, that is an invitation as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I have a friend who, she had a boyfriend who judged her body all the time. And she broke up with him and got a new boyfriend. And now she has a boyfriend who doesn't judge her body. And the boyfriend who doesn't, but now she is losing weight and she is looking really good.
Wow. That's really interesting what you're saying right now, because like when you see the amount of point of views people have in their universe about their bodies, about their life, like being really aggressive with the beauty you be, demands of yourself to be really present in a way, like you're not buying the point of view that you're like you can see, and that
you have to create a demand in your world that judgment is not stronger than you. You've got to have the awareness that judgment is never stronger than you. You are the strongest person in the universe, and judgment cannot overcome you. Makes a difference.
Yeah, big difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Penelope. Would you like to take one more question, or? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we have Lila.
Hi, Gary and everybody.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I am wonderful because I am here with you guys. I have a question about when I get naked in front of some other people or a man, I feel a lot of shame of my body. I never used to have that.
So
my question. Yes.
Ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you have breasts?
Yes.
Are they big or little?
Medium.
Okay. And do you have a vagina?
I do.
Is it the size of wizard sleeves or is it ordinary?
It's cool.
You have nothing to be embarrassed about, darling, because those are the only two things men ever see and lesbians ever see.
Ooh.
Not willing to let yourself be seen through the eyes of the person that's looking at you.
Okay. What can I do to change that so that I do not have that
Well, first of all, is it
point of view?
or is it your judgment?
Nope.
It's not their judgment. Men don't have judgment of vaginas they're about to get into.
So am I making it too significant?
Yes.
The
you're
race.
making it no form, no structure, no significance. Hey, dude, you want this? You can have it.
Okay.
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 And
Yeah.
it's like you have a problem being naked in front of somebody, find a blind person.
But I love being naked in front of people. That's why I don't get it.
And
It's
you're
not making
lying
sense.
to yourself and you're lying to us.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm a liar.
Don't lie to yourself. You are trying to project judgments on your body so that you can feel embarrassed about having gotten naked. But the reality is you like being naked and it's fun to be naked. I don't have a pretty body, but I love being naked.
Did I?
Yeah. I do love being naked. That's true. That's true.
I'm grateful when somebody's willing to get naked in front of me. Because I always figure they got a better body than I do. So great. How lucky am I?
Yeah. Big bodies are amazing. Okay.
Yes. Bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
And bodies can change shapes in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I've watched people go from where they didn't feel good about their body and they would look overweight and saggy and draggy and, and globules of fat hanging off to walking proud naked across the room. And it's like, where did the fat globules go? They're gone. But they don't notice that they're gone. I do.
I mean, we see bodies change and faces change also during these classes with this process of people lowering their barriers and having a point of view. And this conversation, Gary, reminds me of a facilitation you gave me during, I think it was a COP ages ago in Stockholm, when I was judging the crap out of myself. I'm talking like 5-6 years ago, about that I was not a real man because I did not look like a real man, especially in Sweden, where they were like twice as tall as I am and have blue eyes and blah, blah, blah. And the brilliant thing is,
we all know that people with blonde hair, blue eyes are better looking than everybody else. How do we know? Hitler told us so.
I changed my point of view since then, Gary. Thanks for the invitation. And it was so appropriate to this question because it's really like, how aware are you of other people's judgments? And that's basically when you looked at me and said, you see how you're sitting down? And I was like, what do you mean? And I was sitting like this, and he said, you have your legs crossed. And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, most men will feel threatened by you to have your legs crossed because you have nothing to prove to them. Most men will sit like this to prove they have a big package. And that was such a brilliant facilitation because it really made me aware of how aware of other men's judgments of me. And
I mean, come on, you're black. We all know you have to have a 12-inch dick.
and all of those projections.
Yeah, that's the projection, is that you're going to have a 12-inch dick.
Yeah.
But I've met many men who were black who didn't. And I've met some white guys who did. And I've met, Indian guys who didn't. And I've met Indian guys who did. And it's like, and who cares?
Who cares? Exactly.
The question is not if you have a big one, but how do you use the one you got?
Yeah. And for me, it's also how much you actually enjoy your body.
And it's how much you enjoy your partner's body too.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, my friend.
Cool. Thank you so much, Gary. This is brilliant. I always adore having conversations with you, especially on this topic and on all other topics.
Yes, I always like talking about sex because it's the only thing I get to do anymore. It's just talk about it. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Been fun.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. See you very soon.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the ranch. Bye, Gary.
Bye.
Bye. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed this this wonderful call. What an amazing gift to have the one and only Mr. Gary Douglas on this conversation. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope to see you very soon. And as I was saying, these classes are totally undefined and undefinable. And what creates them is you, your points of views, your judgments, and whatever is stopping you from actually receiving the beauty of you. And it was actually true when I said that I see everybody as beautiful. And I also see the judgments, and I don't judge those either. Have a wonderful evening, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.